John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Bevrly, the businessman with a conscience, over here at the Kimalan Village, where each one reach one and each one teach one, along with Brother Piaki, my main man, my main brother from another mother. And as I say, where each one reach one and each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We show that by the things that we do. And just like I say, sharing is caring, and I often like to share information. I tell people one of the reasons I mostly do this is because of my dear friend London. For some reason, she thinks that I might have something to say, and I guess we all have something to say. But I'm more or less, I really like to just sit back and listen to people because you get more out of listening than you do when you're talking. Because if you're doing a lot of talking, you're not listening, so you can't learn a whole lot. And not that I'm trying to be the smartest person in the world, but I know I need to be listening to a whole lot of things and people myself. But today, as well, piggybacking always about each one reach one and each one teach one. I was thinking on yesterday and for the last couple of weeks, I'm also an observer and I pay close attention to my surroundings. And here, you hear me often talk about the families and the children, how they pay attention and how they watch us. Well, not only that, but even here at the village and with us trying to work with them, trying to teach them, trying to help them become better persons, as well as when they get out of school, not only just teach them, to help them with their homework and give them a little snack and a little playtime and try to teach them other avenues and other skill sets. I also observe here at the village, especially here in the store, what I find myself doing and myself doing quite often here lately is that when the kids come over, you know, sometimes the environment of sitting down at a table and trying to teach them math or trying to teach them how to read, sometimes it kind of gets away from them because it's kind of like work. So what I try to do is merge a little work, a little play, a little pleasure into uh, what I'm doing. I tell people there's a method to my madness. And what I try to do is use the tools that I have. So now, what I do when children come over, especially if they show little signs of not reading or not reading as well, I make them. I don't have them to read a book or read a sentence, but sometimes the kids would come to the store and they would point at something and say, "Give me one of those," or "Give me one of those," or two of those. I said, "What is that?" And they look at me, "One of those." I said, "No, what is one of those?" I said, "It has a name." And then they'll, call out the name if it's a candy bar. Let's say, example, if it's a Hershey, then there's a Hershey. And then sometimes when you find out in some occasions, some of the ones you would think that know better, some of them may not know that that's a Hershey, may not know that word, don't know how to spell it. Or not only just a Hershey, maybe uh, a fish, a cherry, a Twix candy bar. So what I do from that is I talk to them when I get a chance to after I wait on different ones. I make them as well count. They'll put their money on the table and ask for a candy bar. They may say, "Give me a Twix and give me a $5 bill." And they walk away and slightly looking at you like, I think I'm supposed to get some change. And I said, "Come here." I said, what is this?" I said, "A five." I said, "So how much is the candy bar?" "$1." I said, "So why are you leaving? You don't want your change?" "Yeah." I said, well, stay here. I said, don't ever walk away from your change. I said, because that belongs to you. That's your money. And you know that you should have at least $4 coming back. So you don't leave until you get your change. Because sometimes when unfortunately you could be in other place, you walk away, the people won't give you your change. They'll take it from you. So we have to teach them because they find themselves look like a little timid about different things. So we don't want them to be scared to spend their own money. We want them to be able to pay attention and know how to add for themselves. So when they get change back, if they're here or somewhere else, that they get their correct change. And then as well as leading, if you're gonna lead, you have to be a good example. Like I say, I ask them and I make them count out. Sometimes I deliberately not give them enough change back. And sometimes they catch me, some of them just accept it. But I do that for a reason because I'm trying to teach them you don't have to be scared. This is your money. You earned it. Your parents gave it to you. And don't let nobody take it from you. If they try to take it from you, let them know that you are aware of what's going on. You know how to add. You know how to count your money. You know how to read. Not only just give me one of those, but give me a bag of Cheez-Its or Cheetos or Doritos. Ask for what you want. And and being a leader here, because we believe in also building positive leaders. So in saying that, what I'm trying to say is that I had an experience. I have it quite often with some of these kids here because they're so smart. But I had a young man to come to me yesterday, and he come in and he wasn't supposed to be here because we have a time when they come in. The first thing we do is feed them because they've been at school all day and haven't had anything since lunchtime. And so we want to, rather than thinking and focusing on their stomach, we need them to get them back together so they can think about what they're doing. So we feed them, and then we try to go over some of their homework and different things with them. Then after that, we may have drum classes, martial arts, free time, or whatever. But we also have a designated time that at the end of the day, after everything is over with, that all the kids can come over and get them a snack if they like. So every now and then they would try to sneak over a little bit earlier. And I would tell them, no, you can't get anything until that time. And so after a few times, I had to explain to them, and which gave me another opportunity to teach them how to abide and go follow leadership, follow directions. And when people is telling them something and how to go by doing it, and the young man, he's said, well, I want to help you out. I said, what you mean you want to help me out? He said, well, I'm going to buy a couple of dollars worth of candy. I said, well, it's not time. He said, I know. He said, but it's, ain't nobody here. Don't nobody know. I said, well, you know, and I know. I say, and I'm a businessman, and if you know most businessmen, like that money. I said, I like that money because and they say money is the root of all evil, but it's not so much as the money, it's what you choose to do with that money. And I often tell people it's not the money that you have, it's what you do with it. The decisions that you make, how to spend that money, how to use that money. Do you use it in a manipulative way, or do you use it in a positive way? And young man was still, he said, well, don't nobody have to know. I said, well, you know, and I know. And he said, well, I'm not going to tell nobody. I said, well, you don't have to. I said, let me explain something to you. I say, you think I'm just a candy man? He said, yeah. I said, okay, well, that's part of it. I said, but not only that, I say, I'm trying to teach you how to follow directions and instructions. I say, and I can't teach you that if I'm not following directions and instructions myself. I say, I'm also the overseer. So I'll oversee operations. I make sure people do what they are supposed to be doing themselves. So how can I focus on and tell Elder Piaki here that he need to do this and he need to do that? And then when he looks up and he finds me doing everything that I'm telling him not to do, I'm doing. And then every now and then you get somebody that will tell you something like, don't do what I do, do what I say. So you want to do wrong, but you want me to do right. and you tell me how to do right. So we got to focus on that. We can't have those kind of instructions and then because the kids, like I say, they are paying attention. I told them, I said, we all have sat down and had a meeting and figured out what would be a good time for you all to come over here. So if I'm gonna make sure that the instructors is doing their job and make sure and they're gonna make sure that you guys are doing your job, I also have to make sure that I'm doing mine. So as well as y'all have to follow instructions and direction, I said, so do I. I said, so I can't sell you. So I just want you to remember and think about what I say, and hopefully that we say is something that will interest you, that will give you a little more food for thought to make you think about it before you do it. And thank you for listening to John Bevrly, the businessman with a conscience, and his brother, Elder Piaki, over here at the Accumuline Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We show it by the things that we do. We don't care about what you think about what we do. We show you that we care in spite of how you feel about what we do. We still showing you that we care. Thank you and have a great day.
Stay safe out there.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Accumuline Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we show that we care about the things that we do. And I often tell people sharing is caring. And today, you always know that I am a thinker. I'm always thinking about things and not only just trying to do things to help make myself better, but anything that I could do or say to get people to think about what they're doing to make themselves better. And today, I just want to talk a little bit about focusing on yourself. And the reason I say that, we're so busy looking at and pointing fingers at everyone else, we don't think about the things that we're doing ourselves. And I think Michael Jackson sings a song, or somebody sings a song about the man in the mirror. And I often tell people, I tell my son every now and then, and I even practice that my own self. I take a look in the mirror at that guy in the mirror, and sometimes you have to tell that guy, and sometimes just have a natural conversation. I guess you may say I'm crazy, or somebody may think you crazy, but there's a method to the madness, and we all do things that a little bit different. And what I do, I tell people to talk to that man in the mirror and ask that man and tell that man that he has to take the time out and think about the things that he's doing and also be able to make a change. And the reason I say that, because so often in church, here at the business, here at the village, doing business as usual, as they say, we have a tendency to point fingers at everybody else and talk about what other people are doing, but we don't realize and think about what we're doing ourselves. And sometimes, we talk about we should do better or can do better. And I would like to think that we all, and know that we all can do better if we begin to practice doing better. And one of the things that I find, that if you would start treating people the way you want to be treated yourself, and if everybody did that, I think this would be a much better world, much better place than it is, because everybody wants to be loved, everybody wants to be treated nice, everybody likes attention, everybody likes affection, everybody like a hug every now and then, everybody would like for someone to tell them that I love you. And if I haven't seen you in a few days, I haven't seen you in a few days, and I just want you to know that I miss you. And instead of always complaining, because we have enough of that. People always complaining. They complain about everything. Complain about you you think about when you was coming up, or even right now, sisters and brothers, or even siblings, or even your children, one or the other will begin to tell you about what you did for one and you didn't do for the other. Well, sometimes there's need. Sometimes you have to do a little bit more for one than you do the other. And in doing so and focusing on that, I often tell people we have to meet the need. And in meeting the need, sometimes it could means a little more extra attention, a little more care, a little more, maybe a little more. You have to be a little more careful and cautious of how you approach and say things to people. And sometimes, when someone is perhaps correcting you, and it's not what you do, it's how you do what you do. In a lot of cases and times, and I tell people, I've seen that happen myself, where someone would do something and someone would almost bite your head off trying to correct you, but it really don't take all of that. And they can be, in some cases, I've seen people be quite vicious. And then when you respond, it's hard to be what they say, cool, calm, and collected when someone is responding to you viciously. So I tell people that we have to be passionate, have compassion towards one another, be passionate towards one another, have that passionate spirit for one another, and be considerate as well, and treat them the way we want to be treated. So, and if you want to get a point over, the Bible says, through my love and kindness have I drawn thee. You can't, uh, that was the time my father said you can draw more bees with honey than you can with vinegar. And we would say, in a sense, I would use the vinegar as a person being a little more aggressive, a little more hard, a little more firmer. And then the honey would be that passionate spirit where I'm concerned about what I say to you, because I want to make sure that what I'm saying, I want to be able to get my point over, but I don't want to hurt your feelings in trying to get it over. I want to be able to prove my point, but I don't want to hurt your feelings by trying to prove my point. I want to get my point over. I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that I care about you. I want you to know that I'm concerned about you. And I want us to be able to get along at all times. In some cases, in being a leader, you we have a piece of paper here that we had some writing on, and said, be the kind of leader that you would like to follow. So, and then being so, that means being approachable, being adaptable, being able to adapt with different situations and different things that might be going on, and whatever it may be. Sometimes, things don't always go our way, but sometimes you have to bend a little bit. Something just because you right don't mean you have to bite someone's head off to prove your point that you are right. Sometimes you may have to go a roundabout way to prove your point, and sometimes be a little more passionate, a little more concerned, a little more considerate in trying to prove that point. And sometimes you even have to give demonstrations and show people what you mean. Sometimes you just can't say it. Sometimes you have to say, this is what I mean, and show them by example. And we often try to lead by example. I often, in working with the instructors here, I don't never try to force a hand, or try to make, I tell people there's no big eyes and little U's, and little U's and big eyes and all that kind of stuff. I like to feel like we should be able to respect one another. And, I respect you in your place, and you respect me in my place. You know who I am, and I don't have to prove to you that I'm the boss or and you are an employee or whatever. We can just be able to get along and be able to work together with one another, be able to come to, you should be able to come to me with ideas and advice from time to time. Or if you see something and, I'm not perfect, I don't know everything. So I should be able to accept or be able to accept what you might come to me with at one time or another. You should be able to come to me and say, with an idea, and I either agree or I disagree. So we should be able to agree or agree to disagree at one time, one point or another. And remember, always you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. You don't want nobody hurting your feelings. So what we have to do once again is focus on our deliverance, how we deliver what we say. If we deliver it harsh, how do you expect, or what do you think, or how do you think someone is going to take that? In a lot of cases, they get defensive. So, and when people get defensive, then it's really hard to get things done because what they say, goats and sheep. Sheep you can lead. Goats is real hard to lead. Sometimes you got to force them. Who want to be trying to force someone to do something every time they need something done? So let's practice love, kindness, being tender, being gentle, being concerned, treating people the way you want to be treated yourself. So hopefully, here, like I often say and do, and people have a tendency to kind of like to work with me because I'm easy to work with. I would like to say, you can come to me with ideas and I'll work with you with your ideas. And if I see that, if your idea may perhaps need tweaking a little bit, I'll try to not say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change this. You don't have to do it. I'll try to get you to be able to see where it needs to be changed at and offer you some ideas and ask you, what do you think? How do you think we should approach this? How do you think we should deal with this? So hopefully today that I gave you something to think about, something to consider, and take a good look at that man in the mirror. And sometimes I had planned to have a mirror so I could show it to you and then take a good look at myself because not just asking you to take a look at that man in the mirror, because I often takes a look at him myself. And I think, and not think, but I wish that I would have looked at that man in the mirror a long time ago, because if I would have, there was a whole lot of things I would have talked to that man about. Because coming up in my earlier years, I made a whole lot of decisions, and a lot of them were bad decisions. I can't change them now. I hurt a lot of feelings. I hurt a lot of people. But today, hopefully, if anyone see this, remember, John is concerned about your feelings. And if I did anything to offend anyone, hurt anyone, disappoint anyone, my parents, my siblings, my loved ones, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that I am sorry. You're never too big to say that I'm sorry. You should always be able to correct your mistakes. You may not be able to change them, but you can learn from them and not continue to make the same ones. You don't have to keep hurting people. If you learn that some of the stuff that you're doing is hurting people, you can learn how to stop doing that. So hopefully today I say something that will help you and give you something to think about. This is John Bevrly, the businessman with a conscience here at the Alcumanon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We show that we care by the things that we do. Thank you and have a great day. And I appreciate you.
Why I Didn't Get Married, audiobook and Spotify special, now playing. Listen now. Visit cbiztvmedia.com/single-christian-girl. Thank you.
John Bevrly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience.
Body and Soul by London Doris Harris Washington Health and Wellness Booklet. Get your copy online today.
Go to londondoris.gumroad.com/l/cziom or email londendoris@gmail.com.
Check out the new TV network brought to you by LICMC and LDWC Enterprises. It's strim.com/London. That's strim.com/London. There you'll find the TV network. We have multiple channels on there you can check out for whatever you're interested in. That's strim.com/London.
You can connect with us. You can get your channel. And we have one flat rate, always great deals. So connect with us here at email licmc.netradio@gmail.com or call London at 248-701-0885. That's 248-701-0885. Thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, join me and my friends at CBiz Media. You'll see great music videos, indie artists, and you have opportunity to join us as well at CBiz Media. Right, guys?
Right. Yep. This your boy, Sean the Rockstar, and I stay locked in with LICMC.net.
Do you need to get the word out? Well, you found the way right here at LDWC Enterprise, your media mogul place for community, business ministry, entertainment, and more. Share your message, inspiration, talents, gifts, visions globally and locally.
You could choose what you want. Just give us a call at 248-701-0885.
That's 248-701-0885. We are the team moving forward together.
John Bevrly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.